Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition has a look at stories making news tonight. New regulations aimed at advancing the country's clean energy transition tabled by the Prime Minister. Also, day one of the job fair kicks off with scores of job seekers vying for positions at Carnival's Celebration Key. And the Health Minister underscoring measures to address the uptick in suicides.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
In keeping with our goal for energy reform, the regulations will allow for the issuance of emission allocation permits.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping news with climate change, a key focus of the Davis administration. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis tabled regulations aimed at bolstering the country's clean energy transition when the House of Assembly met earlier today. This is, as he says, climate change continues to be a major threat to the Bahamas. While the Prime Minister says the country's contributions to the climate crisis is negligible to play a leading role in global discussions, he says the Bahamas must practice what we preach on climate reform. Cleopatra Murphy has tonight's top story.
Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis tabled the Emissions Reduction Initiatives and Incentives Regulation in the House of Assembly Wednesday as part of government's effort to mitigate against climate change and its overall goal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 30% and achieve 30% renewable energy by 2030. Acknowledging the private sector and public will be crucial to meeting those targets, the nation's leader says government's objective is to make it easy and cost-effective as possible through an effective incentive regime.
In 2022, the Climate Change and Carbon Market Initiatives Act was passed, enabling the government to create incentives and implement initiatives to support the country's declared emission reduction goals. With the passage of this act, we took a bold step forward to support climate resilience and innovation at a national and international level.
The regulations, the first under the Climate Change and Carbon Market Initiatives Act, has three objectives. The first allows individuals or businesses to participate in a government-led emission reduction initiative through application to the National Emissions Registry.
The application will capture information on the proposed project and its alignment with the government's targeted emission reduction initiative. And when we talk about the proposed project, that means the conduct of an entity's business as well. Both individuals and entities will be considered eligible for an incentive to implement the proposed project that they may have.
Secondly, regulations will help the country to determine if it is meeting emission reduction targets. The Prime Minister says sectors identified in the Bahamas' nationally determined contributions as key stakeholders will be mandated to provide government with relevant emissions data.
Through this partnership, key stakeholders will be considered eligible for emission reduction incentives. In keeping with our goal for energy reform, the regulations will allow for the issuance of emission allocation permits. Emission allocations ultimately allow for the permit holder to emit a defined quantity of pollution. If it is determined that an entity is a continuous high emitter, it will be noted that the emissions allocations may be issued after an assessment of the submitted emission data.
Thirdly, Prime Minister Davis says the data will be published so that the public can be updated on the country's progress.
By supporting a robust incentives regime, promoting data-driven analysis and measurement, and reporting publicly on progress, these regulations will help Bahamians to see the results of our efforts, both in terms of progress towards reducing emissions, as well as the reduction of costs.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
In news from the employment front, the Wynn building in Grand Bahama buzzed with excitement as day one of the highly anticipated job fair kicked off Wednesday morning. Scores of job seekers turned out, eager to fill one of the more than 600 available positions for Carnival Celebration Key. The initiative, facilitated by Grupo Anderson's Bahamas and the Department of Labor and Public Service, aims to connect local talent with this incredible opportunity as the cruise port nears its July opening. Our Raven Davis has that story.
It is day one of the job fair here at the Wynn building, home of the Ministry of Labor and Public Service here in Grand Bahama, and scores of eager job seekers have turned out with resumes in hand, ready to take advantage of the over 600 positions available in the food and beverage department at Carnival Celebration Key.
We are quite impressed with the turnout today. We expect that a lot of people will be coming out, and that's just what's happening here today. The persons, they're coming and they're ready. They have all of the documentations. The process is that we want everyone to come in and they would register with the Department of Labor. They will become a part of our skills bank, and once we would have registered them, then they would then move on to the Grupo Anderson group, who are interviewing on the spot for all the various positions today.
Now, with Carnival's opening slated for July of 2025, these applicants say they have renewed hope in Grand Bahama's economy.
Things have been a little slow in Grand Bahama for a while, so I'm happy about it. I actually went off to school and I got a culinary degree, so I just want to put my degree to use.
I feel like this is going to bring the income a lot back in Freeport, and I feel like the city is about to bounce back.
I'm from Nassau. I used to work Bahamas, so I already have this type of experience, so this is my kind of thing. So I'm happy to be able to have this opportunity over here in Freeport.
I just want to try it out. Yeah, try something different. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to do little things going on, but fill in the blank spaces.
And for those like Patrick, the possibilities are endless. That's because Grupo Anderson's Bahamas is not only looking to recruit top talent, but is also willing to provide training for successful applicants.
We need persons that are passionate about service. We want persons that are flexible and persons that are willing to work, most importantly. And, you know, we're looking for young people as well who are willing to start their career with food and beverage so that we can train them where we want them to based on industry and company standard. But most importantly, I'm happy that lots of Grand Bahamians are here coming to look for employment, and they're readily available to start working as of today. So what we want to do today is to shortlist everybody today, and by the end of today, tomorrow and Friday, they're going to get an email saying yes or no.
For those who could not make it out on Wednesday, the job fair is a 3-day event and will continue on Thursday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Certainly is good news there. Well, in news from the court, a day after turning himself into police, Joshua Young had his day in court earlier today, clad in a black hoodie and black jeans. Young appeared before Magistrate LaQuay Lang, where he pled not guilty to all 3 counts levied against him: threats of death, causing harm, and carrying arms. Bail was granted in the sum of $6,000 with 2 suretors. He must make no contact with the complainant. The accused must sign into the 8 Mile Rock Police Station every Monday, and the matter was adjourned to May 13th, 2025. Well, concerns have been growing following a string of recent incidents involving unlawful sexual intercourse before the courts. In response, police officials are speaking out tonight, assuring the public that they are taking swift action to stay ahead of the issue and ensure safety. The officials say they are committed to tackling the matter head on. Here's Shane Stubbs with more in that report.
Officers remain on high alert as a number of unlawful sexual intercourse cases have gone before the courts, particularly in West Grand Bahama. But is this a cause for concern? We spoke with Chief Superintendent Will Hart, who says there hasn't been an uptick in cases, but authorities continue to closely monitor the situation.
There are ongoing investigations with offenders coming out of the district.
On March 13th of this year, a 52-year-old man was arraigned in 8 Mile Rock Magistrate Court on charges of unlawful sexual intercourse with a 9-year-old girl. Just 1 week later, on March 20th, a 36-year-old man was arraigned on charges of unlawful sexual intercourse, threats of death, and aggravated assault. In a related case, a 46-year-old woman was charged with failing to report abuse. Police spokesperson Hart emphasized that reporting such matters promptly allows the police to take swift action in response.
Once the information received, once it's reported, we act on information almost immediately. Once the information is reported to us, It is ongoing investigations, and it don't stop until it reaches the courts.
Now, according to Corporal Patish Cooper, one of the tools that's been helpful in bringing swift justice has been guidance counselors. She details just how their astute observations has helped to bring offenders before the courts.
They have a relationship with the police, and they have a relationship with social services where they pick up on these things and report them immediately. We have been communicating with them often, weekly actually, going into the schools, doing presentations with them and the students, making them aware of what is safe and unsafe. The schools are doing a good job when it comes to reporting.
Cooper calls for stronger community ties in protecting those in need. She also offers a stern warning for any perpetrator of the law.
Failing to report, obstructing justice with hindering evidence, knowing a child is being harmed right there, simple as being a neighbor. That's an offense. If you offend the penal code and the Constitution and our children, the police are coming to get you.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Well, a concerning trend unfolding on the island of Abaco as the island sees a noticeable uptick in attempted suicides. Tonight, the health minister is speaking out about the rise, outlining steps being taken to address the crisis. Meanwhile, a local pastor on that island pleads with those struggling in silence to seek help. More details in this report. With an alarming rise in suicide attempts on Abaco, health officials say urgent action is being taken to address the crisis. Earlier this month, police were alerted to the suspected suicide of a 63-year-old man on Guanakee. Just over a week later, authorities responded to another call involving the attempted suicide of a 79-year-old man.
We are definitely looking at the incidence of suicides.
In a press conference, Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Michael Darville acknowledged the growing concern and outlined government's efforts to provide more mental health support across the Family Islands.
The mental health bill is a very sophisticated piece of legislation, and it requires a lot of moving parts. The first part of the initiation in bringing the mental health bill into force was to train mental health community nurses. I'm pleased to report that we have already trained some 41 mental health community nurses, and they are supposed to be deployed in the community. And going into community, they will not be clinic-based, but they will be community-based.
The health minister confirms that additional mental health resources are on the way, but for some residents, those efforts can't come soon enough.
Suicide is on the increase, and I think it comes from the frustration of people not being able, some of them, to pay their bills.
Associate Pastor of Friendship Tabernacle, Edward Tinker, says that since the pandemic, Abaco residents have been struggling, and with the rising cost of living, more people are resorting to self-harm.
These are just rough times. Times are rough. People out there, some of them hardly can find food. I know. You know, it's really tough. But there is a God, and my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness, you know. And you don't know him, you got to get to know him.
He encourages anyone suffering in silence to seek help.
We do have over 100 churches in Abaco, and they can go, or they can call our president of the Christian Council, and there's the social service here, and there's the general clinic.
And still to come.
We have highlights from the first day of the E. Clement Bethel National Arts Festival, that story and more, including sports, when we return.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Grand Bahama, this is not just another spring fling. It's Dolly Madison's spring sale. Get 25% off store-wide on March 28th and 29th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. It's spring and the perfect time to spruce things up, from bed and bath to even boating supplies. So come on down on March 28th and 29th for the Dolly Madison Spring Sale with 25% off store-wide. See you there. Dolly Madison.
Get ready for the Freeport Business Expo Tourism Edition 2, happening May 1st and 2nd. Network, explore, and grow with top industry leaders. Register today at freeportbusinessexpo.com. Calling all local musicians. Celebration Key is holding auditions on March 27th. Showcase your talent and bring the rhythm of the Bahamas to the world. Register today and be part of the magic. This Friday and Saturday only, it's a savings event at Do It Center. Get 20% off store-wide, 30% off Valspar paint, and 70% off selected lighting March 28th and 29th. Do It Center, located at number 43 Freeport Industrial Park. It's a contractor's workshop on March 27th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Susan J. Wallace Center, Columbus Park. The topic is construction site debris management. For registration, contact 350-9166 or email rplacaris@gbpa.com. Spring into savings and take advantage of Majestic Retail's Yellow Tag sale. Save up to 20% on smart TVs, tablets, Fire Sticks, mini split AC units, pedestal fans, and so much more. They're located in the bonded area. Call them at 351-3936. A deal is guaranteed at Majestic Retails.
It's the second annual Turks and Caicos. Come go with me. Musical and Jazz Festival, June 5th through 9th. Book your airline tickets now with BritishAirways.com, BahamasAir.com, or InterCaribbean.com.
It's springtime, and Grand Bahama Tiles is having its biggest spring clearance sale ever. With 20 to 60% off store-wide, there's savings for everybody on everything. They have large stock items on wood look, porcelains, and natural stones. And all clearance stock must go. So, what are you waiting for? Hurry in and catch the spring clearance sale now. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. The first day of adjudications for the 2025 E. Clement Bethel National Arts Festival began on Grand Bahama Tuesday morning at the City of Life Entertainment Center. Grand Bahama is the fifth stop after adjudications would have been concluded on Eleuthera, Cat Island, Exuma, and New Providence. Senior Cultural Affairs officers in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, Synovia Peer, says for the next 2 days, children and adults of all ages will display their talents from singing to dancing and an array of other art forms.
Whenever we come to Grand Bahama, it's always 2 full weeks. Grand Bahama pretty much accounts for almost, I would say it goes between 45 and sometimes some years as much as 55% of the entire festival for the country. So yeah, Grand Bahama is always a huge showing.
Pierre says each year officials are impressed by the caliber of performers that hit the stage, and this year is no exception.
We've seen quite an array of talent, marching bands, community persons, church, everything that you can possibly think you find, and you find rare gems in places that you don't expect to find things. So we're always pleasantly surprised when we're finding kids that are playing the accordion, you know. So it's definitely, every year brings its surprises.
Well, that does it for news. Jay, what's coming up in sports?
Well, the flag football season kicked off on the weekend with some pretty competitive games at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex, Miko.
All right, sounds exciting. That's coming your way next. But first, to check on the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
This Friday and Saturday only, it's a savings event at Do It Center. Get 20% off store-wide, 30% off Valspar paint, and 70% off selected lighting March 28th and 29th. Do It Center, located at number 43 Freeport Industrial Park. Celebration Key presents the Lifeguard Swim Test in Freeport. Join the action at the YMCA on March 27th at 9 a.m. Walk-in registrations are welcome. Scan the code to register today and take the first step toward becoming a lifeguard.
It's the second annual Turks and Caicos Come Go With Me Musical and Jazz Festival, June 5th through 9th. Book your hotel now at Ports of Call Resort, Turks and Caicos. Daily breakfast included. Short distance from the event. Email now. Reservations at portsofcallresort.com using discount code CONCERT15.
Here at Freeport Decorators, we have hundreds of products for you to choose from. Whether you're in the market for trophies, plaques, rubber stamps, corporate signs, any kind of interior signage, stamps, or seals, we're your one-stop shop. We feature glass, acrylic, crystal awards for every occasion. We build all the trophies here on site. Looking for a gift item? We feature pens, key rings, mugs, tumblers, barbecue tools, even bamboo cutting boards. Have something already? Bring it on down. Let us see if we can print that special something on it for you. Need a headstone? Memorialize the memory of your loved one with a beautifully lasered granite marker. Our store hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We focus on customization, so if you have an idea or a new concept, bring it on down or call us at 352-5557 or even WhatsApp your idea to us at 646-0777 and we will do our best to make your awards and recognition ideas a reality.
Attention all foodies, farmers, and fun seekers. The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources is bringing you the biggest agribusiness expo this year. That's right, from April 4th to 6th on the Gladstone Road Farmers Market grounds. It will be packed with exciting exhibits, expert workshops, farm animals for the kids, and even interactive games. Whether you're passionate about agriculture, marine life, or just love great food and family fun, this event is for you. See you there.
It's springtime, and Grand Bahama Tiles is having its biggest spring clearance sale ever. With 20 to 60% off store-wide, there's savings for everybody on everything. They have large stock items on wood look, porcelains, and natural stones. And all clearance stock must go. So, what are you waiting for? Hurry in and catch the spring clearance sale now. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. Topping Sports, the 2025 Grand Bahama Flag football season kicked off to begin the week with 4 games on schedule in men's and ladies' play. It was some exciting games, needless to say. Let's head down to the field. The opening game saw Abaco Tritons winning against Lady Elites in a close one, 13-12.
The game was good. We could have done more. We could have done more execution, but that comes with practice and, more work we got to put in throughout the season.
I feel if we had more bodies out to practice, we'd have killed them by 1,000 points. But it was a great game. We came out, we had fun, and we did what we supposed to do.
In the other ladies' game, the Lady Oilers took down the Tigers.
I feel very good about our first win. These girls came out to play today. They were low on numbers, but they still brought their A game. So it was a good challenge. It was a nice game.
The feature game was a rematch of last year's championship game between the Rock Boys and Three Links Bad Boys, but it was the Rock Boys that pulled away to take this one 14-13.
It's coming off a loss last year at the same team. He's pretty confident that we can come back and bounce back. It's a young team, still growing, so we like the results of the day.
Switching gears now in sports scores from the Grand Bahama Basketball Association playoffs. The Police Enforcers won Game 1 of the best-of-3 series 74-72 versus the Gym Rats led by Travis Wildgoose with 21 points. In Game 2, Dudley Boys got a W 173 against the 8 Mile Rock Legends to take Game 1 of that series. Shamar Pinder had a game-high 34 points to lead his team. Next in sports, scores from Rising Stars Little League softball play. Bethel's Batitudes won against the Astros 5-4 in 10U action. Now in 12U play, the Sharks from West End got the win 15-5 versus H2O Trucking Rebels. And in 16U play, the Crushers with a convincing win took down FES Hitters 9-1. And that's your quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
And Grand Bahama Tiles is having its biggest spring clearance sale ever. With 20 to 60% off store-wide, there's savings for everybody on everything. They have large stock items on wood look, porcelains, and natural stones. And all clearance stock must go. So, what are you waiting for? Hurry in and catch the spring clearance sale now. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
What is Business Fit? Business Fit is a group health insurance package offered by BAF Financial. What are some of the benefits of Business Fit? No deductible, dental and vision care, hospital room and board, surgical treatment, labs, medication and drugs, maternity, doctors, clinics, specialist visits, chemotherapy and radiation treatment, air and ground ambulance, and preventative care. Business Fit, offered by BAF Financial.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Well, that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight is coming your way next. In fact, there's a live look at them now on your screen.
Entrepreneurs, are the high costs of banking services making it harder for you to grow your business? The SBDC's Business Blueprint is back with all the information you'll need to get your business finances right and on track. So join us when we sit down with Fidelity Bank and Trust International's Group CEO, Goran Poe, to discuss securing funding, managing banking fees, and alternative lending options. Plus, get his top-notch financial advice for long-term business success. Only on the SBDC's Business Blueprint, Monday, March 31st at 9 p.m. on ZNS TV 13, because only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here, faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the government calling for a full buy-in to climate change. Doing so, though, means doing away with outdated practices and embracing the new. Also, the fight for lives. The government looks to promote health, wellness, and longevity with the help of legislation. And an official nomination for U.S. President Trump's ambassadorial pick for the Bahamas. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. Bolstering energy reform, a top priority for the Davis administration. Last week, it was an agreement to secure liquefied natural gas. This week, the Prime Minister introduces legislation to make reducing emissions as easy and as cost-effective as possible. Altaviz Munnings joins us in studio tonight with more on what the government brands as landmark climate regulations to accelerate clean energy transition. Good evening, Altaviz.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, tabling the Emissions Reduction Initiatives and Incentives Regulations Wednesday, which will be the first regulations enacted under the Climate Change and Carbon Market Initiatives Act. What's on the table models the 2022 Climate Change and Carbon Market Initiatives Act. Now, the first objective is to implement emission reduction initiatives and incentives, like a person or entity participating in a government-led emissions reduction initiative by applying to the National Emissions Registry.
Like to take a gas station, may register itself, and they may say, well, look, we would want to participate in this exercise, and they would have to record, example, how much fuel they're selling. They have to give information on the fuel they sell, the oils that they're selling, and then that will be translated into what it may likely to be in respect to the emissions that will flow from that sale. And then from that, we're able to keep account of what our contribution is to gas, to greenhouse gases emissions.
Focus will also be placed on reporting emission-related data and issuing emission allocations permits, which will even consider incentives for key stakeholders.
Emission allocations ultimately allow for the permit holder to emit a defined quantity of pollution. If it is determined that an entity is a continuous high emitter, it will be noted that the emissions allocations may be issued after an assessment of the submitted emission data.
To ensure transparency, the final mission entails recording and tracking the data-driven analysis and measurement, and then reporting that information to ensure the public is aware of the progress to reduce emissions. And Prime Minister Davis is adamant that there is no way government can meet its climate change goals without a full buy-in from the public. Makashla, back to you.
Well, thanks, Alto. Climate change, but one unnerving reality here in the Bahamas. There's also diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, and kidney failure that are all said to be crippling the local healthcare sector. Studies show that these habits are actually formed during childhood, as laid bare in the STEP survey.
40% of our teens and 71.6% of adults are overweight. That is why this administration is not shying away from the bold actions needed to safeguard our children and the next generation. Too much is at stake, and as a government, we must address this public health issue head on. Mr. Deputy, our health sector faces its most significant financial burden from the demand for tertiary healthcare services, predominantly driven by preventable non-communicable diseases. We are tired of seeing people losing limbs and losing their eyesight because of diabetes, uncontrolled hypertension, and vascular disease brought on by poor diet choices.
Now, according to Health and Wellness Minister, the Honourable Michael Darville, that fight calls for robust health regulations, behavioural change initiatives, and dedicated national health promotion strategies. All this included in the Health Promotion and Wellness Bill, or as the minister tells it, life-changing proposed legislation that makes its way to Parliament after 3 years of research, a year and a half of collaborative work, and multiple stakeholder consultation. Well, also coming out of the House of Assembly this morning, legislation to safeguard the country's standing as a leading financial jurisdiction and ensure its compliance with international standards. Fern Carey has the details in this next report.
During today's proceedings in the House of Assembly, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, opened debate on a bill for an act to amend the Automatic Exchange of Accounting Information 2025. He noted that the amendments capture all attempts at circumvention and avoidance of the law as it relates to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD's Common Reporting Standards on Tax Evasion. The amendments are also expected to prevent the Bahamas from being placed on the European Union's list of non-cooperative jurisdictions for common reporting standards in 2026. He acknowledged that not all countries are playing by the same rules.
Some countries end up on the blacklist, like we were, and the gray list, while others seem to escape that fate, despite the same or inferior compliance records.
Yes.
That's why I had to say on the international scene on several occasions, take your knee off our neck.
Yes.
Right. And so, under this administration, for the first time ever, we have a strong voice on the international stage, pushing for change to the status quo.
Prime Minister Davis further stated that the legislation is focused on ensuring that the country's financial services sector retains its competitiveness as a regional and global leader. Through this legislation, he's hoping that the Bahamas sends a strong message to the global community.
Through this standard, or through the automatic exchange bill, we are signaling to the world, yet again, how seriously we take our commitment to transparency, compliance, and developing the strongest AML, CTF, CPF, and the anti-tax evasion framework in the world. And we are signaling to investors and those in need of wealth management services that we, the Bahamas, continue to be a safe harbor for their financial services needs.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Now, the government last night provided the latest update on the investigations following that SpaceX Starship rocket that exploded earlier this month, sending tons of debris down to Earth, including here in the Bahamas. The government referenced the Space Liability Convention Treaty of 1972 to make its point that SpaceX or any other entity experiencing an incident in the Bahamas or any other international territory for that matter is obligated to cover the cost of environmental remediation. The statement adds that the Starship rocket that took off from Houston, Texas, is not part of the Bahamas' existing partnership with SpaceX's controlled Falcon 9 rocket program that's expected to conduct as many as 20 rocket landings in the country this year. The statement further confirms that approximately 400 pounds of lightweight silica, mostly sand tiles, were recovered near Ragged Island and are on their way to the U.S. to be discarded, and that SpaceX immediately launched a cleanup exercise under the supervision of the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection and BRON, its environmental consultants. And SpaceX is borne all cost. The government's update, though, not quieting opposition calls for more transparency on the matter.
The Prime Minister has some questions to answer, so we share the Bahamian people's concern. We need an environmental impact assessment in advance, and then we need to know completely what are they doing to ensure that there's no damage to the marine environment that affects fishers, that affects the tourism industry, etc.
State Minister for the Environment, Zane Lightbourne, today called on the opposition to be guided by science, all but accusing them of engaging in fear-mongering.
We rely on science. If we rely on health science, if we rely on natural science to make determinations, the same experts that we rely on to make determinations for us, if they are saying that this is being dealt with in a particular manner and that there's nothing to fear, then why does the opposition want to be all of a sudden scientists? Let's rely on science if that's going to be the standard. And we too are just waiting for the experts to give us any necessary information, and as they do it, we'll bring it to the public.
Coming up, investigations continue into a double shooting. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card.
From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
This one? No. Hey, look, KFC has an incredible promo.
Already had that for lunch.
Crunch your hunger cravings and satisfy the whole family with KFC bucket meals starting at just $20. Get freshly prepared golden fried chicken, buttery biscuits, and add your favorite large size. Bucket meals starting at just $20. KFC, finger licking good.
A new era is dawning in Grand Bahama. An opportunity, it's knocking louder than ever. Introducing Tract B, Bahama Reef Yacht and Country Club, Unit 1. A prime corner commercial property, footsteps from the Port Lacayo Marketplace, crystal clear waters and white sandy beaches. This expansive 4.8-acre tract is zoned for commercial and multi-use development. Envision a thriving restaurant, a boutique hotel, or an entertainment hub unique to your vision come to life. You can live, work, play, and learn in paradise when you seize this rare opportunity today. Collaborate with DEFCO and let's shape the future of Grand Bahama Island together.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
You're looking at a shot of Fort Charlotte overlooking Nassau Harbor. And a bit of history for you there. Built in 1789 by the British, it is one of 3 forts off West Bay Street. Immediately to its west are Fort Stanley and Darcy. That drone shot courtesy of cameraman Neville Smith. Good work, Neville. Welcome back. After more than 10 years without a United States ambassador, American President Donald Trump's nominee's application was received in the U.S. Senate on Monday and referred to the Committee on Foreign Affairs. Football star Herschel Walker is set to become the next U.S. ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The 63-year-old who won the 1982 Heisman Trophy at the University of Georgia was tapped by President Trump in December to become ambassador to the Bahamas. He will be the first American ambassador here since Nicole Avant, who served from 2009 to 2011 under President Barack Obama some 14 years ago. While we turn our attention now to news from the crime front, authorities hoping for answers following inner-city shooting of a man and woman in the Coconut Grove community. According to police, a barrage of shots were heard near an Airbnb at the southern end of First Street shortly after 8 last night. The man was reportedly taken to hospital. His condition is unknown. Witnesses say the wounded woman, who appeared to be of Latin origin, left the area in a black Honda Swift headed in a northerly direction. That vehicle not getting very far, though, as it reportedly lost control, crashing into a lamp pole at the corner of First Street and Bahama Avenue. The bloody scene leaving neighboring residents without power for some time. The woman, we understand, was taken away by ambulance. Also in the damaged vehicle, 2 dogs. A nearby CCTV camera will likely assist police with their investigations. Well, there are suicidal individuals who require medical intervention. Another group, the so-called middle layer of the mental health pyramid, struggling with suicidal ideation. And then there are those who are considered the most dangerous, the unattached, who will never reach out to a doctor, read a pamphlet or preventative measures, listen to a lecture, never have a discussion. And according to clinical psychologist Dr. Valerie Knowles, that's really where foot-to-foot community work is most needed.
You know, there was not a break to recuperate, come back to normalcy, if there's such a word, get your power back and come back out fighting. So many times if you look at your tolerance level as a cup full, right? And so if you take out some out your cup, if you're able to take a whole lot of your cup, because you're going to need some space to cope with day-to-day issues that are coming up. But if I have not gotten my balance, I was still just surviving for a long time without the backup psychological support and the backup maybe financial support, then I strain.
Dr. Knowles' comments follow a suicide and attempted suicide spike in the country. Just this past Monday, a 45-year-old Guanakee man reportedly took a large quantity of over-the-counter meds. National empathy to life's burden, she says, calls for understanding that no one is exempt from societal stresses.
Reaching out, connecting, providing the feedback are things that we all can do. Humanizing contacts, watching what we use to decide that we're not doing well, right? If I lost my job, who says that means your life is over, right? And so it goes back to how we reinforcing our parenting, letting our children realize that conflict resolution, problem-solving skills, all these things are part of life, and they watch how adults cope. And they recognize their good coping mechanism and their bad coping mechanisms. Self-harm does not always come, like I said, from that strain. Some people out of anger, sometimes, they respond out of anger, okay? Sometimes there's relational issues, betrayal, trust, betrayal, anger. I think if I hurt myself, I can hurt you back. Right. And then other thing that goes with substance abuse. Once you have substance use, along with the increased emotions, your reasoning is off. The increased impulsivity. There's some people who respond on impulse, not with the intention of ending their life, but just with ending the pain.
Stay with us. There's more to come when the National Report returns.
This portion of the news is brought to you by so-called Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community, also help with the education of our kids in this community, and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Attention all foodies, farmers, and fun seekers. The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources is bringing you the biggest agribusiness expo this year. That's right, from April 4th to 6th on the Gladstone Road Farmers Market grounds. It will be packed with exciting exhibits, expert workshops, farm animals for the kids, and even interactive games. Whether you're passionate about agriculture, marine life, or just love great food and family fun, this event is for you. See you there.
Do you ever just want
More? But wait, there's Marco's! Introducing the More Marco's menu, packed with your favorites starting at just $6. Like our warm, golden baked cheesy bread, crispy stuffed risotto. How about a hot, fresh, medium one-topping pizza, subs, calzones, pizza bowls, and more. Starting at just $6. Certain restrictions apply. More variety, more value, more Marco's. Order today at Marco's Pizza, Bahamas.
The people that are looking at Eleuthero, the Cove, the Chang family who put in that money, you look at Bruce and Hans or Trois Large and Le Bougainvillea and French Leave, Rock Sound and the Jacks Bay, we're getting a lot of money coming in here, and so the growth of what I see, and especially in Governor's Harbour with the people who are going to create something amazing at the old Club Med site, I think it's just going to stimulate and build this island into something amazing. I think it'll be the #1 island as a destination.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
If you didn't attend the Department of Inland Revenue's Financial Symposium at the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium over the past 2 days, you missed an opportunity to take advantage of some special offers for entrepreneurs. Not to worry, all the vendors on site have proven they're committed to ensuring local business owners have all the support they need. As the symposium wrapped up today, government and private agencies committed to continue their support to the growing number of Bahamians who are serious about business ownership. These include BTC, RBC, the Nassau Guardian, Halsbury, Chambers, Scotiabank, and Kalina.
We provide more than just broadband services. We have smart solutions, which consist of website creation.
Our payroll system as well called Business Pay. Business Pay is now integrated into our digital banking software, so it's a one-stop shop kind of for everything for you to do.
We have a wide gamut of services that we offer, inclusive of print, digital, radio, and newspaper.
We can represent you with your legal matters. We can do employment matters, personal injury matters, mortgages and conveyancing, intellectual property law.
As opposed to the brick and mortar, we want to be able to educate our clients to let them know there are other ways of doing banking, i.e. the merchant services, online banking, night depositories.
We provide the policies that would benefit them in the long run, and it would position them for success in the future and cause them to be even more credible.
Well, Donna Marlena join us live for a sneak peek of Access Now. What do you have for us?
Well, Makushla, the island of Eleuthero, Junior Junkanoo is heading that way. But the big question I want to ask you and Marlena, can you beat the drums or blow the cowbells or shake the cowbells or blow a horn?
I prefer to just be the front dancer as opposed to on an instrument.
Okay,
There you go.
okay,
We'll have
all
our
right.
talents. I did Junior Junkanoo once when I was about like this big, so I don't know how useful I would be. I had a good time. I was a little fish.
All right, right. So stay with us. The National Report is back after the break.
Diet-friendly special.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting TingsyBahamas.com.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
What if I told you Wendy's has a new burger? With a flavor so secret, it's almost too delicious to handle. Well, now it's time to unlock that flavor. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger. We can't tell you everything, but we can tell you that it's packed with flavor, including our secret barbecue sauce. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time.
At BOB, we take pride in our business banking.
I chose Bank of the Bahamas because it was a Bahamian-owned bank. The bank has certainly supported our evolution through overdraft facilities, purchasing of equipment, facilitating of salary payments, and I really believe that Bank of the Bahamas is able to help in the development of the local economy. I would truly recommend the services at Bank of the Bahamas.
There are many youth empowerment programs out there, but this one is close to King Charles III's heart. King's Trust International is in 25 countries and has positively impacted more than 7,000 young people in the Caribbean alone. It has now reached the Bahamas thanks to a partnership with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and the Governor General's Youth Awards. Felicity Darville tells us more about it.
What does it take to truly empower young people? According to Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Cynthia Pratt, it takes all of the youth organizations coming together and working towards some singular objectives.
We are all cylinders to introduce meaningful and effective programs for our young people.
She gave these sage words of advice to leaders of youth organizations gathered for the Bahamas Youth Sector Conference 2025. King's Trust International CEO Will Straw agrees.
In order for our support to be both sustainable and impactful, it's essential that we work together on understanding what best practice looks like. And so the core themes for this conference this week, safeguarding and monitoring and evaluation, have been chosen following extensive conversations with the Ministry and the Governor-General's Youth Award.
Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honourable Mario Boleg, describes what safeguarding young people really looks like.
When we speak about safeguarding, it extends beyond the bounds of just policies. We are talking about a national, connected commitment to protecting the most vulnerable among us. The government of the Bahamas remains steadfast in ensuring that these rights are not just acknowledged in principle, but realized in practice.
And he's backed by British High Commissioner, His Excellency Tom Hartley.
I hope this room, as you're surrounded by your peers, and as people have flown in from the UK to share their experience, I hope it's an encouragement that you're not doing this alone, and that there are people who have experience, people who have had good days and bad days, and people who have had great kids and difficult kids, and people who want to work with you in order to show how we can measure that well, how we can tell those stories well.
It was nearly 50 years ago that King Charles, then Prince, upon leaving the Navy, used his severance pay to invest in young people interested in entrepreneurship. And today, King's Trust International is still working for young people, and it proves that when leaders make a sacrifice, it can have a global impact. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
Well, that does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.